Automated external defibrillators, or AEDs as they're more commonly known, save hundreds of thousands of lives.
But they only work when people know where they are and how to use them. Tonight, NBC2 investigator Rachel Polansky discovered those AEDs are not always so easy to find.
That's right, Kelly and Peter. The American Heart Association says only 10% of people who suffer sudden cardiac arrest out of hospital will survive. When an AED is used, that survival rate jumps to 74%. So why aren't these devices used more? Well, most businesses are not required to have them.
Said I didn't die, I lived. And now I'm telling the world what God did.
A morning jog in Naples.
There were no warning signs.
A husband and wife's daily routine.
I was totally healthy.
That turned deadly.
All of a sudden, I saw him in the distance just drop to the ground.
Bobby Ball watched her husband die in October of 2009.
He was just gone.
Sudden cardiac death.
Is he still breathing? Hello?
I said, Jim, Greg is down. He's left at the clubhouse. So Jim ran across the street, got in his police car, and went and found Greg.
Corporal Jim Streeter tried CPR, but he couldn't get a pulse. So he ran to his car and he grabbed an AED.
Stand clear.
Applied it to him. It gave him a shock. It actually started his heart back up, is my understanding.
And the man he revived?
He's the pastor of my church.
Wasn't a stranger.
I'm just happy that I was in the right place at the right time for them.
4 days later,
You know, the whole thing was a miracle.
Pastor Greg Ball awoke from a coma.
Had Jim not had that AED machine and known how to use it, I wouldn't be here today.
The NBC2 investigators wanted to know how accessible AEDs are across Southwest Florida. In Collier, there are 135 inside county buildings. There are 671 inside sheriff's office facilities and patrol cars. In Lee, there are 103 in county buildings and 125 with the sheriff's office. And in Charlotte, there are 40 in county buildings and 28 with the sheriff's deputies.
So why the large range of numbers? A spokesperson for Collier says AEDs are a top priority at the sheriff's office.
Stay calm.
Lee County says they're working to equip all of their patrol cars with these devices, but they're expensive.
It can be anywhere to $1,000 to $2,000.
Dr. Shonavella Makani showed me how they work.
These save lives and are very important devices that need to be used.
The NBC2 investigators randomly checked 20 public places in Lee and Collier County. We found 12 that had AEDs, and we learned they don't have to.
Tetraphosphorus, decoxide.
Outside of public high schools, dentist offices, and assisted living facilities in Florida, retailers are not required to have AEDs. And even in many of the places that did have them, the staff could not tell me where the devices were located without first calling their bosses.
It doesn't do a lot of good to have one if you don't have staff and people that know how to use it.
An eye-opening lesson.
You never know when you're going to need it.
That could mean the difference in life and death. Something Pastor Greg Ball will never take for granted.
No one's promised tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised to anybody.
The Collier County Sheriff's Office tells me they just started using a cell phone app that alerts those trained in CPR to nearby cardiac arrests and lets them know where the closest AEDs are located. That app is called Pulse Point. For more information, head on over to NBC2.com. For the NBC2 investigators, I'm Rachel Polansky.